The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digital brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digitalk,
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
So, according to some individuals, the judicial system has not been really fair to them. These individuals say that compensation that has been given to the privileged and not to the less privileged. Many of them say that according to the reparations that are always given by court or the directions that are given by court to compensate certain individuals, some get magnanimous amounts of shillings and yet others get meager pay or meager compensation for their work. We shall be delving into that story today, and I have Nana Mwafrika, who is an activist and a political activist who before the court has actually ordered that she be compensated by 35 million, that she actually turned down, saying that this is not as equivalent to the magnitude of the effects that police meted on her, and which culminated into her losing her uterus, and that means she's unable to have children. So we will be delving into that discussion today, finding out what may be the real causes of this and maybe how can we actually solve this particular challenge. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Today is the 17th day of January 2022. You used to say that the month is a bit slow, but now the month is actually fast. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. Just 3 minutes past 8 a.m. you are watching the Mighty Drive Show. The Mighty Drive Show airs every Monday to Friday, starting from 8 to 10 a.m. We're always here having a conversation with Uganda, thinking that we shall find solutions to the various challenges that we face as a community, as a country, and as a people. I am not alone in studios. I am with a gentleman called Roger Sturiahabwe. He is on camera. Teddy Tejonabukera is the lady in the production house, and we are here to serve you up to 10 a.m. Don't forget, today at 11, we're going to be having Tekachi, that show that talks about the law, and it will be hosted by Mr. Kaso Kato Tumusime, who will be delving into discussions of the law. So please do tune in at 11 a.m. But before we do that, let's start off with the Mighty Drive Show. The Mighty Drive Show starts with the Mighty Global News Updates, where we tell you things that have been happening in your community and, of course, around the world. There is a lot of news happening. Yesterday, we commemorated the Martin Luther King Day. When I say we, I'm speaking as a black man. I'm not speaking as an American. So as a black man, we celebrated that gentleman yesterday. That is the Martin Luther King Day. They normally call it the MLK Day right there in the United States. Now, the Martin Luther King Day happens every Monday after the birthday of Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of those Americans that you say advocated for the rights of every individual, for equitability and equality among human beings, and of course saying that black and white, we are all the same and we are one people. So Martin Luther King, he would have made 94 years yesterday, yesterday but one, because his birthday was actually there on January 15th. That was on Sunday. So every Monday after Martin Luther King's birthday, there is always a celebration across the United States, remembering the life of this charismatic gentleman. Now, the President Biden actually also commemorated this day and was in Georgia at the church where Martin Luther King Jr. used to preach, and he was there and also emphasized that we need equality, and he emphasized that America is a land of people, is a land of one people, it's a land of liberty, and so shall it remain. So we remember Martin Luther King as a man who fought for the equality and the equity of all mankind. So in loving memory as Alternative Digitalk, we remember this gentleman. He would have made 94 years this year, but unfortunately he passed on earlier as his life had just in fact started, if you can say, because in the short time he was on earth, there was an impact that was created by Martin Luther King Jr. Now let's come back to the country Uganda today. Schools have refused or have adamantly refused to adhere to the government structures that are the school fee structures. Remember, the government came out to regulate the fee structures, saying that schools have made it a norm to increase their fee structure every particular term. Now, in that regard, the government of Uganda thought it wise to bring in, a bit of school fee structures that the private sector and the public sector should actually follow in terms of, charging the students. Now, according to some schools, they are not going to be doing this because there are various challenges that they incur as schools, and the government has not also lessened on the tax burden that they have to pay over time. According to some headmasters of various schools, this initiative of the government setting a limit as to which schools have to follow in order to charge students, they say this is actually wrong because the charges incurred by these schools have actually not been, calculated by the government itself. They say, first of all, the cost of living is high, the cost of everything is also high, and then you cannot just say that there is a cap or a limit that they should follow because there are different dynamics. And they also say the government has also not reduced on the tariffs that they should pay. In case, or if government had reduced on the tariffs, if they had reduced on the electricity charges, if the water charges have been reduced, that means they could be in position, or they would have been in position to reduce on the fees that they charge students. But if the government is still complacent in this area, but being hypocritical in a way, saying that they should have a school fee structure limit, that means there is a bit of lack of, can I say, a correlation between the government and the schools in that particular regard. Let's wait and see what will happen, because students are going back next month. That will be on the 6th of February. So I think we have around a fortnight or 2 weeks to go in that particular regard. Amanya Edgar Matthew Karuhanga, mwabaka twegatako oli ku program bagita The Mighty Drive zile dakika musanvu munana, in fact ziweze munane zakaita kusawa ebbiri ezokumacha tuli mukuweereza nga tusinzira wane Makindye we tukuweereza okuba nga tukuwa mawulire. Mbadde mbagamba olunaku lwa leero tulina omukyala bamuyita Nana Mwafrika agenda kuba twegattako nga tunyumyamu emboozi ya compensation. Judiciary nebadde to compensating bulungi ba activists obanga wewetegereza waliwo emisango egiweebwa oba egisosoowazwa ate nga ate wano emisango emirala tijjo bagireka ne batagiteekamu nnyo maanyi. So twebuuza kivudde ku ki? Ba activist bo balekeddwa ku bali abanaabeera compensated batya ate banaafunamu batya mu government? Ojja kuba osobola okutwegattako mu conversation eyo tunyumyemu era tujja kunyumya ne ku biki ebigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. Omukyala Nana Mwafrika ajja tubuulira mu ngeri ki ye gy'abirabamu. Nga tuvuddeko kaawo olunaku lw'eggulo omwami Norman Tumuhimbise ne munne Farida Bikobere baalabiseeko wali ku Makindye Court nga bawera ennemba n'emisango egy'abaggulwako ndoza mujjukira omwaka oguwedde twali mu March bajja wano ne babakwata ku Digitalk House era babagulako omusango gwali gwa offensive communication era okuva olwo paka ssaawa zino bakyawera ennemba n'emisango gyabwe nga bali represented by Council Aaron Kiza ne banne basobodde okubanga bawulira omusango gwabwe olunaku olw'eggulo wali e Makindye lwadde budde bwa kumakya. Katulinde tulabe biki ebinaava mu kooti. Omanyi tetera kwogera ku musango nga genda mu maaso, just tulina okuba informinga nti gukyagenda mu maaso. Jjukira ne Digitalk yavaayo ne challenginga the Computer Misuse Act era omwaka ogwo oguwedde nga bagamba mwalimu obuwaayiro obwali tebukontana n'amateeka ate of course bwali tebukontana na mbeera y'abantu gye balina okuba nga babeeramu oba the freedom that people should actually celebrate in that particular regard. So olunaku lw'eggulo Norman Tumuhimbise ne Farida Bikobere baalabiseeko wali ku Makindye Court. Katulinde tulabe biki ebinaabivaayo mpola mpola nga wetugenda mu maaso. Wali nga tugenzeeko wali mu Uganda Cancer Institute waliwo ebigenda mu maaso. Abakozi ba Uganda Cancer Institute babasabye baddemu ba-applyingire emirimu gyabwe buto. 300 Cancer Institute ordered to reapply for their jobs. Bano Cancer Institute workers oba employees bo bagamba nti kino kivudde ku nsonga nti beekalakaasa recently oba in fact tebajja ku mirimu because officially tebeekalakaasa naye ebikolwa babiteeka wansi ne bagamba bali tebalina transport nakasente akaali kasobola okubanga kabalabirira obanga kaba facilitating okubanga bava ewaabwe n'okudda ku mirimu gyabwe gye bakolera. Baali bagamba nti gavumenti ne mu festive season oba mu budde bw'ebikujjuko tebasobola kubanga bawa abantu bano ssente zaabwe ezaalisobola okubayisa mu mbeera eyo era bangi balaga obutali bumativu bwabwe. Kati mu kulaga obutali bumativu bwabwe gavumenti oba abatwala ekitongole kya Uganda Cancer Institute oba eddwaliro eryo bavuddeyo ne basaba abakozi baabwe badde basabe emirimu bupya era abakozi bagamba kino nno kyateereddwawo okubanga bajjamu abamu ku bo ababadde bagezaako okubanga beenyigira mu mbeera eno. So bagamba kino lwaki kijja mu kaseera kano kiringanga ekitegeze okubanga kibalemesa abantu bano okubanga basigaza emirimu gyabwe wali ku Uganda Cancer Institute. So abantu abakunukkiriza mu bisatu bo basabiddwa basigale oba baddemu basabe emirimu gyabwe buto balaba oba banaasobola okubanga bagibaddiza oba tebagibaddize mu mbeera eyo yennyini. Nga tuvuddeko kaawo ndoza mwawulidde amawulire agatabadde malungi olunaku lw'eggulo nti waliyo bomu eyakuba in fact yakuba ku lunaku lwali lwa Sunday mu kanisa emu wali Mpondwe nga olinga nga ku Congo border ne Uganda border. Abantu bangi abafiira mu njege eno bakunukkiriza ndoza mu 10 n'abalala bavaawo nga balina ebisago bingi. So gavumenti ya Congo yakutte omunakenya omu olunaku lw'eggulo ng'eyagamba agenda kubanga abuuzibwa ebibuuzo ku bomu eno. Bagamba alabika y'omu ku ba suspects abaali emabega w'ekikolwa kino ekyatwaliramu abaana abakyala n'abaami mu Democratic Republic of Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo eno ebaddemu entalo okumala akadde kangi era guno si gwe gusoose nga tulaba nti bomu zigenda mu maaso eyo n'entalo mubimanyi ne kati wetwogerera nga Uganda eri eyo egezaako kubanga enoonya abatujju abashuja mu preparation shuja ndoza mujjukira ebigenda mu maaso eyo mu DRC Congo. Kwegamba kyannaku nnyo naye bwekityo bwekiri. Yo poliisi evuddeyo neewa ebiragiro bapromota bye bagenda okubanga bagoberera nga bagezaako okubanga bakola omulimu gwabwe obanga bategeka ebivulu bino. According to the spokesperson of the police, oyo mwami Fred Enanga yavuddeyo n'akakasa nti nno bano abategezi b'ebivulu bagenda kuba beetaagibwa okusooka okufuna clearance, ndowooza tukiyite buyisirukusa okuva ewa Inspector General of Police IGP nga tebannaba kubanga bateekawo kivulu kyonna. In fact basabiddwa okulagana buli muntu agenda okubanga performinga ku kivulu ekyo nawa gy'aviiridde okubanga bakola batekinga extra precaution oba security measures okubanga balemesa ebyaliwo luli ndoza mujjukira nga tukesa nga tuyingira guno omwaka wali ku Freedom City abantu ndoza baweze kati 11 abafiira mu njege eyo. So police okubanga yeewala bino ebintu okugenda maaso esazeewo nti bagenda kubanga balina okuworkinga together with the events organizers okumakinga sure nti at least office of the IGP ebeera notified nga eri in the loop. In fact bafunene details zonna eza buli muyimbi agenda okubanga ayimba mu kivulu kyonna. Bano bagamba kino kijja kubanga kirekeraawo obanga kikendeezaako akubuwenje obuva naddala mu bivulu bino. Jjukira guno ndoza gwe mulundi ogusookedde ddala okubanga tufunayo stampede mu bivulu bino, naye poliisi egamba tegenda kubanga ekkiriza kino kisobole okubanga kiddawo, era mu mbeera eyo bagambye bagenda kubanga bafollowinga kino. Olina okusooka oyogereko ne IGP, omala okwogera ne IGP omulage ne list y'abayimbi abagenda okuba ku kivulu kyo, ate wa wennyini we bagenda okubanga baviira okujja mu kivulu kyo basobole okubanga bakuwagira. Mu mbeera bwetu katufulumeko wabweru w'eggwanga tugende wano ku muliraano e Rwanda week ewedde ba interceptinga abantu abaali batambuza amamundu oba ammunition, heavy ammunition, era bakwatibwa. Office of the Prime Minister yakakasa nti bano bakwatiddwa ate baadde bagezaako kubanga bavuunika government bo we bagamba. Bano baadde bagezaako okustaginga a coup d'etat etaasobose, era Rwandan government yasobodde okubanga clearinga nebafuna nga bukyali. So according to the Prime Minister, owekiwandiiko kye yafulumiza yagambye Rwanda tekkiriza muntu yenna agezaako okubanga akyusa gavumenti mu mbeera etali y'amateeka, era bagambye tebagenda kubanga bakkiriza kino okubaawo, era buli munyarwanda agezaako okubanga avuunika gavumenti mu mbeera etali ntuufu oba etali nnungamu bagenda kubanga bamukolako ng'obuyinza bwe bulagira mu mbeera bwetyo. Era olunaku lw'eggulo twafunye story nti waliwo omukyala bamuyita Kayitesi, bantu babiri bafiiridde mu makage nga ate bafa muliro. According to Luka Wesigire, omukyalo ono yabadde yayise mikwano gye babiri bajje bamukyalireko, naye nga tebannaba kuvaawo ndooza ennyumba yakutte omuliro, era bano ababiri ne bafiirawo mu mbeera eyo. Abafudde mulimu omukyala Patricia Arinda ow'emyaka 24 ne kizibwe we bamuyita Kajumba ow'emyaka 27. Bano baadde bazze okukyalirako Kayitesi mu makage ku apartment ye, naye tebyasobodde kubanga basimatu kubanga bavaayo. Poliisi yaderooza nti no guno omuliro maybe gwavudde ku gas, naye bazze okukebera gas gye yabadde mu kasitowa ate yo yabadde intact, tewali kyabaddewo kyonna kyonna. Kwegamba bagamba kabalinde balabe naye okunoonyereza kukyagenda mu maaso. Amaka gano gali wali mu Kawempe zone E mu Nabweru, oba apartment ye ne yakutte omuliro eri mu Kawempe Kawempe zone E mu Nabweru division we wasobodde okubanga omuliro wegwaviiridde oba wegwa nyumba the house that got burnt erimu eyo particular residence. Yewe twogerera nga Kayitesi wadde abadde naye yafunyeemu ku buvune obutonotono, poliisi yamaze dde okubanga emukwata, era nga agenda kubanga abitebya omuliro guno gwavudde ku ki. Naye era nga wemumanyi ababyogerera ewala naddala ku mikutu gino gimukwanira wala gi Facebook, Twitter, batandise dde okubanga babitebya nti omukyalo ono banne yabookyeza kagenderere ng'omukadde akogga kabadde kagenderere kubanga yadde abayise nti bajje ku birthday party. According to social media outlets, ono omukyala yadde abayise bajje ku party basobola okubanga baselebratinga bonna naye tekyasobodde kubanga kibaawo. So babiri Kajumba ne munne bafiiridde mu muliro guno. Kino nno kituuka mu kaseera nga obuvuyo obadde bweyongedde ku social media. Twalaba omuwala awo emabegako yeeyita Pretty Nicole naye yakubibwa emiggo tegyali mitono nga baali bamwekwasa okubanga agezezzaako okubanga abba obanga atambuza abungeesa okutukuba tekuba kutambuza okuba kubungeesa bigambo nga bijja wano nga abiteeka walala kwegamba guno omwaka 2023 gutandise gutandise ne obanjiyite vibe oba n'omuliro gutandise on a high note in that particular regard. Police nayo yafulumizza confirmation nekakasa nti abantu 135 be bafiiridde mu sabbiiti ebbiri ezasookedde ddala ez'omwaka guno 2023. Naddala bano baadde bafa bubenje. Poliisi ekakasizza nti abantu abafudde obubenje mu ggwanga mu wiiki 2 zino zerwakatambuzaako mu guno omwaka bali 135 abali registered by different hospitals and the Uganda Police Force. Kyannaku nnyo okubanga abantu bafa mu mbeera bwetyo naddala nga bafa ebintu ebitali birungi naddala nga accidents zino zetusobola okubanga twewala naddala nga tuvuga bulungi because poliisi yakakasa nti no ensonga ezisinza okubanga zireeta accident ku kkubo ekisooka ye reckless driving okubanga tuvuga naye nga tetuvugisa buvunaanyizibwa oba kibayita okuvugisa ekimama then overspeeding is one of also the other challenges, then driving while intoxicated okuvuga ng'olina kyonywedde ekikutawaanya mu bwongo ebyo byonna babisaitinze out okubanga z'ensonga lwaki bino bigenda mu maaso. President ali wabweru w'eggwanga President Museveni agezaako okubanga asakira Africa ne East Africa n'eggwanga li mu United Arab Emirates yagenza okubanga akyalako keeyo agezeeko okubanga asakira bannayuganda ekigulira magala eddiba. Ndowooza bannange katukomeko kaawo omwami Simon Tolit oba mumujjukira Simon Tolit in fact gwe batera NUP gwe yasimbawo wali okubanga mu kalulu ka Omoro East constituency ewa Simon in fact Jacob Olanya gye yali atwala. Omwami ono yafudde bambi era NUP yamu commemorating ne bagamba omumemba waabwe gwe bateekawo okubanga avuganya mutabani wa Olanya mu kalulu ako bambi ye yafudde mu mbeera bwetyo. Bannange mwebale nnyo. Ziri 22 zezakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya. Nze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga okubanga nkuweereza ndooza katumayize ne story ya Salim Saleh ne NSSF bitandise okwongera okubanga biranda. Abantu bagamba ssente zaabwe ziri safe zitya. Kirabikanga Mwami Saleh alina access ku NSSF. In fact abantu bagamba mbu ebitongole bya gavumenti ebisinga birabika biri infiltrated era ekyebuuzibwa bannayuganda banaasobola okusigala nga beesiga gavumenti yaabwe kubanga n'ekimu ku byo abantu ndoza kati bagenda kubanga batya n'okuddamu okusevinga ne NSSF. Already erinnya balyekoledde B. Tosobola kuba na linnya B omuntu n'ayagala abe nga associatinga naawe because kati neewuunya abantu abanadda because olaba omulembe ogubadde ogezaako okusevinga. In fact saving with NSSF ebadde mandatory nga bakutemako ne bateekayo ate kizuuliddwa nti ne companies ennyini tezisasula NSSF teziwaayo ndowooza baziyita batya remittances zolina okuwaayo osasule omusolo gwo oba osasulye abantu NSSF. Kirabika kyatandise n'okubanga kitegeerekebwa nti nno ne government ne companies ez'enjawulo teziri mu kusasula NSSF. Kugamba twebuunya NSSF yeegasa ki oba egasizaawo Munnayuganda nti ekisooka there is a bit of incompetency mulimu ebintu bye tutategeera mpola mpola decisions zigenda mu maaso nga Bannayuganda tebazimanyi ku nsimbi zaabwe ze batereka ng'ate ovudde ne kweyo ensonga otunulamu nti ate ne companies ezaali badde zisasula omusolo gwa NSSF nazo tezigusasula. Bannayuganda abantu bakola balowooza nti bagenda kubanga babasasula NSSF naye nekisangibwa nga si kituufu. A case in point is multiplex. Olunaku lw'eggulo oba yekalakaasizza in fact balina mu kukola wetwogerera nga bagamba eyo y'emu ku nsonga babatemako NSSF naye bazze okwetegereza nga ne ssente ze babatemako eza NSSF tezituuka mu NSSF nga wezaali badde zituuka okubanga zibayamba. So aba bakola ne multiplex parking system nabo ebikola babitadde wansi olunaku lw'eggulo nga bagamba tebagenda kukola. Yo multiplex yasirise ateyina kye yakomentinze ku nsonga eno kati kikulaga the gravity of what is happening in the country. Katulinde tulabe, tujja kuba tubabuulira nga bina bitambula salewa anaaba nga kituufu oba nga si kituufu nti yali emabega wa zino ensonga tujja kuba tubimanya byonna. Nana Mwafrika yamaze dda okuba nga neegatta kuba nga atuuka wano. Tugenda kuba tugoinga for a short commercial break kubanga kadde keeko wetukomawo tugenda kutandika emboozi eyo eya obutali bwenkanya mu judicial system. Is it the judicial system oba wali abantu abali targeted nga bannana mu Africa n'abalala abatera okukola activism mu ggwanga lino? That and much more is what you should expect in this edition of The Mighty Drive. It's just 24 minutes past 8 a.m. My name is Edgar. We're going for a short commercial break. When we come back, I will be with Miss Nana Mwafrika and Farida Bikomere up to 10 a.m. Good morning.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digitalk brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digitalk,
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
ya ziri eddakiika 29 ze zaakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya. Nze Edgar Karuhanga okubanga nkuweereza twakavamu updates tubadde twogera ku bice bigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga ne wabweru w'eggwanga nga bwe twabasuubiza omukyala Nana Mwafrika amaze dda okuba nga atwegattako naye ndaba nammwe mwamaze dda okuba nga mutuuka. Ethan Mwine webale kubanga otulaba okuva e Turkey kibeera ky'amaanyi nnyo. Kabale Eric kwali agamba good morning mwebale nnyo mwenna abatunize in musimu yongera okubanga muweereza message zammwe mpola mpola nja kuba nzibasomera gye tugenda eyo mu maaso. Ndine omukyala Nana Mwafrika si bwe busoose nga abeera naffe wano tubeerawo naye nnyo nga tumulungulamu ku nsonga eziba zigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. Kamwaniriza asooka ababuuzeeko tutandikirawo wennyini. Nana, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am well by the grace of God.
Mina kirungi tusanyusa okubanga nkulabyeko wano. Ebadde week number last week you were here?
Week and also come 2 weeks.
So yeah, a fortnight ago. How has your time been throughout those 2 weeks over Dotia?
Mbadde bulungi naye toyinza kwerabira nti tuli Uganda. Bulungi is relative. Mwe tuli tuvugira mu binyoomo abatambuza ebigere toyina wookiyisa mwe tuli ebitunyigiriza bingi but we aspire to overcome everything. Tetusobola kupowa.
Ate muggwako ssanyu kyekyewuunyisa ku bannayuganda naye omubeera muyita in the valley of death. You're smiling and witty. Munayuganda
ekyera abatwetoolodde kye batwogerako. Mpayamu ne mikwano gye Kenya nti naye Munayuganda amanyi okusanyukira mu mbeera. We are happy people. Twaratingibwako oba mu bya hospitality naki ne tuteekebwa waggulu nnyo. So I think that n'abatukulembera badde ba mukisa nnyo okuba nti abantu be bakulembera Ugandans are good people at heart.
No, maybe is that one of the reasons as to why they are complacent, or because I feel balinga omanyi omuntu wakola ekintu ng'alinga atafaayo ng'amanyi tewali kigenda mu mukolwako. Is that the reason because muli bantu balina
tuli bagonvu?
Muli bagonvu nnyo buli omu agise n'alinnya
ate obugonvu saagala. I don't want us to mistake abantu okubeera okweyongera mu maaso nga beeyisa bulungi oba nga baagalana. We cannot mistake it for nti they do not feel the wrongs ebigenda mu maaso. People feel, people hurt, but Uganda is tuli based on amadini. Christianity, Islam, abantu basaba. And amidst, we've sort of, I think, Ugandans have mastered the art of, have known that maybe there will always be problems, that there will be problems, adverse issues for a long time. And I think people have mastered the art of enjoying life while they work on solutions. So as we move on the struggle to how we can continue to enjoy as we do the struggle.
Yeah, but even the Bible says that you should enjoy even in times of struggle.
Bali mu struggle kuwasa kwino genda maaso tuyina okusanyuka
criticizing abagamba te lwaki mwe muwasa mugenda maaso naye waliwo omwe yaleseyo aka scripture akali interesting yagambye nti newe bali. I think there was a time when the Israelites were in Egypt, but the Lord told them you should give birth, even if you are in that land, you should get married. Kwegamba muzimbe namwe ekika kyammwe si kubanga
tulina okuzaala ne twala gwannadduli gulina okuwagirwa. Abantu oba basuze enjala oba enguudo ebinnya bingi oba enfuufu nnyingi waliwo ebirina okuremaininga constant. Omuntu alina okugenda mu maaso. Yeah, we have the mastery of enjoying as we solve these problems.
All right, katuyingiremu mu discussion y'olunaku olwaleero. Waliwo ekigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga lino simanyi oba kiri intentional oba unintentional ojja kuba otubuulira that compensation given oluusi eri relative, right? Especially court compensations. Tulabinga there are some people who have received compensation zaake bamu compensating 75 million tezinaba kutuuka paka saa zino naye azirinda Nate otunulia abamu babawanise nyingi Lord Mayor abamuwadde Kahindo Tafire yali afunyeko I think around was it 900 million, I'm not sure. Pius Bigirimana got 450 compensation for defamation. It was 2012. Nana Mwafrika yafuna 35 ye yazigana nagamba the gravity is not proportional to the reward that has been given. Nana, first paint a picture for us. Chino, is it intentional or just shibera obubezi ngemisango giri different? So nebagamba wano katwa nyingi bantu wa
ensonga eno nkulu nnyo ddala era njagala tugiwe obudde obugimalira ddala. Njagala ensonga eno tugitambulireko ne bwe tunaamala program eno ensonga eno yeeyongerweyo mu buli gwekwatako. Compensation. Nze mu nsonga eno nja kugwira nnyo, especially compensation in human rights matters. Torture victims nja kugwira nnyo ku ludda olwo. Compensation ezingiramu ebintu bingi. This can be, we can term it as the way to cater for one's negligence or something done wrong. Ekiba kikosezza omuntu nga tayikiinaamu mukono. Kakati compensation nze nja kugwira nnyo ku ludda lwa especially torture victims in Uganda. Kuba torture be baana baliwo. Kyetulimu violations of rights mpitirivu ziyitiridde. Okoze bulungi okunokolayo era ensonga eno nze bwe mwanyaniriza tube nga tugyogerako nalowoozezza nnyo ku keesi ya Pius Bigirimana. Mwami Pius Bigirimana was PS at OPM some years back.
2012.
And he claimed that he claimed defamation by the Monitor paper, that he was defamed. They defamed him when they reported about his involvement in the Kazinda saga. Sente ezo ku OPM ezabula empitirivu. Monitor's defense was that they merely reported what was talked about in Parliament. And that's what, as public, we also saw it. The court ruled that this was not protected speech and ordered Monitor to pay 450 million in damages to Mwami Pius Bigirimana.
And that was a defamation case.
This is defamation. He's saying it's defamation, but Monitor's defense was, we merely reported ekyagenda maaso wa mu Parliament. Ordinarily, reports about proceedings of Parliament are considered privileged communication and cannot be the subject of defamation suits. This decision gyebakola mu case eno yenyini ya Pius Bigirimana, it appears to be a departure from the old common law position. Secondly, the 450 million is far too high, too much for a newspaper in a poor country like Uganda. Thirdly, it's an attack against free speech and the fight against corruption. People are going to fear to speak against those in power, especially when there are issues coming up about corruption. Fourthly, there is a lack of consistency in awards. You've mentioned award ya Zake, award ya Mwami Kebbi, award ya Mchala Ingrid Gwebanyi Gebere, waliwo ya Mwami Lukwago. There is a lack of consistency in these awards. How can you award Nana, a woman, tortured, maimed, beaten up at the headquarters of the police, and therefore losing my womb in the process? How do you award me 35 million? And you give a permanent secretary of or government official mentioned a suspect in a corruption scandal, 450 million, simply because a newspaper talked about what the Parliament spoke about this case. How? Nakubwa si munzikiza nti bansanze ntamidde beekwase misana tuku ku headquarter ya police e Uganda. Ekitongole ekiweebwa omusolo gwange okutetenkanya bwe kinkuuma kyayungula abawanvu n'abampi, abakazi n'abasajja, ne bankwata mu bukazi, ne banzaaza omwana atatuuse, n'abaana yange nejjibwamu omusango gwe nawaaba mu high court judge gwe bayita Musa Sekaana bagezaako n'ogufutyanga kuba yali covid biki omusango ogwo bampa ruling nga ndabiseeko mu parliament ya njiyite bunge EU
European Union Parliament.
Yes, the EU, the Naliku Committee y'abakyala on the Human Rights. Just days after that, a ruling was thrown into the email of my lawyer. I found it suspicious. Chalinge chaine chachi fueling ngao. We went to talk about rights of women and this came up. What had been done to me came up just briefly. Nze njagala nnyo referring to actual cases. Many times some people might not like it. They might think maybe I but I like an example, Jenninako, every proof. I was tortured, inhumanely treated, maimed to near death, driven by police, thrown in my own vehicle because police did not have ambulances when I collapsed. I would get told later I was thrown in there. I wake up and I'm thrown at a hospital surrounded by people that had done these things to me. I woke up very terrified. I was covered in dust. I stank from tear gas. Ng'abandika abasawo bannansi basimula okuva ng'essaati etobye ebintu bye banjiirayira bikemiko. I report this case. I bring this human rights violation against myself to the courts of law, civil suit against Uganda police, and Judge Sekana Musa rules in my favor, of course, reducing it. Maybe it wasn't torture, but maybe it was wrong. The 35 million was not even compensation or awards. Awards were general and special damages. General damages, special damages. Cheyasala mostly chava mu receipts z'eddwaliro ezaali available at the time. Zaali mu million nga 3.2. Ekitegeeza nti actually compensation gye yampa yali million 2 oba 3. Naye bwe nkyogera nti gye yampa kiyinza okulowoozesa nti nazifuna. This ruling was end of 2020. I've never seen that money. I don't even expect it. My family and I have had a burden to reinstate my health. Weeks nye mabega nina samples zenaleka mu ddwaliro Nairobi, the women's hospital. I haven't even managed to go pick the results. They recommended that I do an IVU. Abamanyi olulimi olusawo, you could do that. At the time, my receipts stood at that, not including endala teziri available jukira. I wasn't myself. When I were somewhere in Europe, those tickets were not counted in that. But based on the available receipts, and we mentioned that treatment is ongoing, it was. Nalinga kumugu kati ondaba tinsobola okutambula. It's because nkanikibwa. IV gye bangamba okukola mwezi nga gumu ne wiiki emabega. Amalwaliro agasinga eddwaliro lyennyini eri lyagirecommendinga, they don't have that. They can't provide that service. Bwe nabuuliriza Kenya ne bangamba there is a German hospital wembangezaako. I looked at and another hospital is current. Some hospitals mu bamirirwano gwafaawo. You simply think of what it might cost you and you sit back and you pray to God. Kakati obujulizi ng'ate bubulawo butya nga bubulawo butya obujulizi nkugambye this happened at no less than a police headquarters Naguru emisana sawa nya bwe babasaba footage PSU tusooka abalooya bange bayita ku police standards unit. That's where the IGP office had tossed us to go and put this. Bakiteekayo police standards unit yasaba footage. Footage never it was nowhere. That footage, we are told, ya deleting within hours of this occurrence. I've never really told this story very vividly. No lunaku lumu tulijogerako. Kazi bante kanso mukazi naninya boot, police boot we nagirinnya wa.
Kata kirabo oli lubuto.
Nanjerega tiraba ina n'ekikovu wasiza. banyambudde n'obuwale bulabika n'asitula omugere n'angamba you are even wearing a white panty for what? I've never forgotten those voices. I've never forgotten those voices. They are names that I saw. Naye, yes, we are talking lack of consistency mu awards zino.
Yes,
mwami oyo y'omu ndooza mulamuzi y'omu. There is a time Besigye baamukuba amaaso ago engalo katono ekutukeko engalo ya dokita emu bw'oli mwetegereza. Yes. Isn't it the case omulamuzi y'omu Sima yamuwa million yasala million 10 bwe tukozesa ekigambo if we use the word
yamuwa
was given yamuwa you see oba kyusiza the whole
police yafulumya recently nti bagibanja sente mu gundi
obutitimbe billions bali mu billion nga 16
bazi babanja compensations.
Yes. Mulamuzi y'omu bwe mba siri musobya kubeera state erabika ina a certain kind of balamuzi abantu babayita oba be bakadda ba state nga bo be bawa certain cases bamanyi they know how to spin them around and mess them around and mess up people's lives. Sigenda kwerabira mwami oyo mwami Musa Sekaana omulundi ogwokubiri gwembeera mu kooti he name called me spitefully said lawyer wange yali talabise daddy we yali mulwadde nnyo bambi yamala n'afa. So madam victim yampita madam victim. I've never forgotten that thing. Ye mulamuzi y'omu juuza ayina activist male mabirizi gwe yaweereza mu nkomyi amaleyo emyezi 18
18 months ya Musa Sekaana
yagiyita atya era yali defamation yali kuvoola contempt
of court.
Naye mulamuzi he's a learned man at the level of a judge in a high court. So madam victim yakyogera as in a spiteful like so you're here to represent yourself like the
omanyo bakito bakwogeza obalunyomo obakubanga
olunyomo yes olunyomo but with total inconsideration. I'm not in that court at a picnic. I'm not there because I want to be there.
You're running there for justice.
Naye andikuwadde justice in the beginning. They're so biased like we say. So madam victim consistency mu awards nti police Uganda police emisana tuku they maimed me and nearly killed me an unborn child. The awards from a high court judge Musa Sekaana was I think 2 million. I can't place it. He had special general damages. Ekikwata receipts eziri provided for the costs so far as by the time 22. 3 years later, I still have issues that I can't bring out on air. Issues. My reproductive system was greatly tampered with. My health was greatly tampered with. I've gone through different procedures to get here, to get off the stick. Ekiweesa omukulu PS, former PS Bigirimana, suspect in a corruption scandal. Million binamu atano mbukubanga monitor paper eyogedde kwebyo ba member of parliament bye bayogera mu case eno million binamu atano nze ne bamamba ne banyambula mu obukyala ne bate emikisa jange jonna at life because namaze emyaka gye maze. You're not able to work, you're not able to the anguish, the emotional part of it. The bouts of anger, things to remind you of this. Torture is unending. Bw'olabayo omulagwe babikoze nekisitula ennaku ekulimu. N'olaba famire yo bweyavuwazibwa olw'okuba nti bateekwa okujjanjaba. Zisigenda mu malwaliro e Nairobi nti ngenda ku state bill nga ba MP nga mukyala Nambozo Babala. This is me and my family going to borrow to see that Nana gets better. Yes, mu malwaliro. Baliramu entambula, baliramu okutaataganyizibwa, baliramu the anguish, the pain on my family. Uganda in Africa, omuntu okubeera oli kiwongole sina na baana. Some people used to come in my inbox say, let's keep it as a secret. Because culturally some things we shouldn't say. That's the engine of a woman's body. It's gone. Look at me.
That is what brings out your femininity.
Look at me, I'm wrinkling up. My grandmom told me recently, it has far-reaching impact. Genda ku Google, genda searching a hysterectomy on a woman.
Yeah, because
the things it does, it has advantages, it has
you,
disadvantages.
It makes you a woman.
Yeah? It tampers with your hormones. I'm wrinkling up at my age. Look at me. I'm covered in wrinkles. Anyway, inconsistencies. Fifthly, it's this case, it speaks possible lack of independence in the courts of law and conflict of interest. How else do you explain the fact that the PS at the PMO gets so much money compared to a case of a woman who lost a body part to torture by Uganda police? How do you explain that?
The reason they give is that...
And the monitor appeal gets so quickly set up and heard within a matter of weeks. And then they quickly dismiss it. Yet appeals generally take years in courts. But obwangu bwe bakozesa to hear this, appeal ya monitor quickly dismissed. 400 million to pass Bijirimana. What impact does that have on omuntu awulira kino? Muna Uganda omuwi w'omusolo ogwe sente ziri ezatwalibwa ku OPM. Omuwi w'omusolo ogwe million 4.5 na 3.5 ze bagamba okuwaani. Pius. What does it speak? It's further work against freedom of speech. The right to information. Tomorrow, journalists ali mu parliament omu ajja kuba mwegendereza chicha reporting nga kyeboogedde mu parliament.
Ajja kulondamu ebitamuleetera.
So nze bwe twogera compensation, sticking so much on the part, the human rights side of it. Compensations in human rights violations, they are delayed or they never happen. They are inconsistent. Kugambye nti waliwo, there is a case ya Mwami Besigye.
Yogenze na wala 2020
Mwami zake bamukuba ne bamusunaasuna ennyama. They awarded 75. Etebanazimuwa, but also compare zake 75 nana talina n'abaana 35. Like byonna tebikwatagana. I don't know how much was awarded omukyala gwe banyige Bering Victory nawe. I don't know if it's been given. Is that why some people would rather not go to court? Mukyala Namboze kigambibwa police bayina bye bamukola bakuuma ddembe mu parliament in 20 yaliddirwe baalwana mu parliament. Could that be the reason she didn't bother to report this case? Asigale nga luli wagize mbuli lwakenyeddemu mu mpe zigenda mu ddwaliro kubanga she's a VIP. Naye kati ffe abantu aba bulijjo nze omuwi waagwo maze emyaka 3 I am paying taxes to a government that owes me. In the news, when that came out, I said, it's trash. It's not my full medical bill. And indeed, it's not. So they reported the New Vision, activist rejects what? The Psalm and whatever. But even if I didn't reject it, where is it? Where is it? Compensation, inconsistencies, eziri compensation zizino. Zisending a message chi eri muna Uganda. Abantu abawiwa omusolo eyesanga mu situation. It's not my desire that I be in the hospital for nearly 3-4 years now, in and out of doctors' offices. It's not the liking of Muchala Namboze to be in and out of hospitals. It's not the liking of bona babadde tortured. Waliwo ekitali kuvaako. The consequences are far-reaching. That's why it's a very important issue in the top human rights ezitwala the globe, the universe. Freedom from torture. Awards za compensation. Well, there are other compensation cases that need compensation. Si za torture zokka ze zigyetaaga. Nsinziira ku kya torture kyokka. One, I'm a victim. Two, it's ongoing. It doesn't stop. But there are other cases. There are other cases. UN's top court ordered that Uganda pays $1 million, maker $325 million repatriations in Congo.
325.
Uganda's participation mu manga z'ambagali e Congo twalagirwanga eggwanga. Bwe balagira ezo Munnayuganda olw'okuba nti ammebwawo okumanya nakyo omuntu wa wansi atudde mu kataleke ayinza obutamanya nti yakakatibwako okusasula $1,000,000 because security officers, the army of Uganda, senior army personnel went to the Congo and did what they did there.
Exactly.
Munnayuganda ategeezeddwa atya nti burden eno eri ku ye. Poliisi bw'ebeekaaba nti just as by 219 as of 219 July poliisi ng'erina biliyoni nga 12 ezigibangibwa poliisi alone kati ziteekwa okuba nga ziri mu biliyoni nga 2. Overview mu nsonga zino lwaki poliisi abagirimu abagikulira abakulu baayo bakugamba nti Uganda police leads in the number of cases where government is taken to court and they nearly win none of them. Unless it's done with impunity nti omusango bagugobye. Nze poliisi Mwami Sekanda bwe yamala otujolonga bino I attempted to go private against the individual officers. Benali maze oku I had learned. Chala Lupos manyani, Christine Obol manyani, manya kajizire kata. Ngamba omulagundi ni instructing a lawyer. Kwata abantu bano sekinoomu. Kubanga President Museveni mu mwaka yali 2019 yassa omukono ku kiwandiiko ekigamba nti ekikkiriza nti omuntu sekinoomu mu security force police oba magye bw'aba alina byakoze
their personal capacity
they are liable bo ng'abantu nze bwe nkukwata nti gwe erinnya lyo gwe tumusiime gwe gwe nkutte ng'onsala okutu nkututte mu kooti kyakkirizibwa nti Munnayuganda wa ddembe okukwata individual violator of their right n'omutwala mu court. We did that and state took over the case without even calling my lawyer, without nothing. The next it was a phone call. Nti omusango state egutekinze over. Omuntu gw'empawabidde nti ye yankola kino.
Ali mu state.
Gwoyagala ye state. Gwoyagala je yaba undefending. It was as good as telling me give it up. Many people tell me, I tweet about this thing periodically, appeal, whatever. Without an appeal, we even started it. But to which end? Kubuno bujoz the impunity with which things are done. To which end? Oba webuzaako mirembe. Obalekera Katonda ekirijja kyekirijja.
Kasooka nsomeko wano message omukyala abamuyita Lace-up agambye nze ever since I realized that the government of Uganda can compensate people's lives with just 5 million and Ugandans are okay with it. Actually, they were fighting for it. When nakoma okutegeera, because I thought that's supposed to be like condolences. But compensation when someone has lost his life, naira achebuza.
Eri obulagajja bwa security agents. Ti police egenze naye kuba amasasi gagenza astre. President n'alagira mutekinge over okuziika mubaweeyo $5,000,000. Obulamu bwa Munnayuganda, the life of a Ugandan. 5 million.
Nana, it's time we go in for a short commercial break. You, police, in fact, Bobagamba, according to the people who abakola judgment, inti bana tubanene. So wabanga aina profile nene, the magnitude of the offense na yebe fuse.
Really?
Nene kuye. That was the same story they gave to Kahinda Otafide's compensation. The 450
Ogambi yali million mekalu
around 900. Onomwami Pius Bigirimana 450 bagamba muntu aina dikola munene ekitiibwa kye oba kityobode nnyo. Awo nyine tugenda okubanga tutandikira ku dakiika zino esatu ezibulayo okubanga tutuuka ku ssaawa sa tukyayogera n'omukyala Nana Mwafrika nga atunnyonnyolamu embeera eno eya compensation naddala mu siga eddamu zeeri abamu baweebwa katono abalala baweera kangi n'abaweebeddwa oluusi ne ssente zennyini ze babagambye osasulwa tebatera kubanga bazifuna. Ngenda kuba nsoma message zammwe endala nkyaziraba era mweyongere okubanga muweereza message ezo. Let's go for a short commercial break. We will be right back.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Fellow citizens, following the sequence of events, Uganda seems to be at political crossroads.
I'm not a servant of anybody.
Madam, I know the law.
As such, Alternative Digitalk brings you the Interface Show with retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besuje.
Let's keep on the same page on Alternative Digitalk.
As he gives you the alternatives on the transition question, rule of law, human rights and freedom, youth inclusion in governance, economic stagnation, as he confirms.
I'll be always here Saturday from 10 a.m. in the morning. Be there.
Don't miss the live discussion on the Alternative Uganda, Digitalk TV Facebook pages, and the Alternative Uganda YouTube channel.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
mukulikeeyo mu kuwumula okwo ziri essaawa 3 zennyini in fact eddakiika emu ye yakayita ku ssaawa 3 tuli mu ssaawa yaffe esembayo osobola okusigala ng'otusindikira meseji zammwe nkyaziraba wano tumusigale nga muweereza nkyalina omukyala Nana Mwafrika tuli mu kwogera ku migozoobano gye twaligambye egiri mu judicial system abamu baweebwa katono abalala baweebwa kangi just for clarity by the way yafuna million 2 compensation omwami Kahindo Tafiire nga bagamba erinnya lye naye era naye it was a defamation case era naye yafuna million 2
kitegeezebwa nti tebalina kwogerebwako
nange kye bali neebuuza nti kati ate wetuba defamation eri bigger than torture Lucy okwogerako n'okukucunya kati
okwogerako n'okuteeka wali ne bakusuna obunyama bye bakola zaake oba okuweta ne bakumenya enkizinga mukyalani n'amboozi oba okukuba tyagaasa amaaso mwami Kiza Besije omunyigo when you compare that to nti banjogeddeko banyonoonedde erinnya ki balina mannya ki abantu bano
reputation revolutionaries bano be baleeta eggwanga be bazaala eggwanga
where they stepped over dead bodies and came and promised that this was it, we had to do this, but here we are now, 10-point program. Nene beyongera maaso kukola bye bakola biri. It is absurd, it's a shame. We must emphasize on compensations in torture cases in Uganda, human rights cases. Eggwanga libanjibwa ssente mpitirivu olw'ebikolwa byaba mukuumaddembe. Bw'otunula the top, for example, top human rights violations in Uganda. Forced disappearances, freedom, okulinnyirira freedom of expression.
Banana bayimirirako wali nga balyoka babagajambula.
These are the cases. Cases zonna ziva mu buntu butaliimu. How do you as a state expect the led to be completely quiet about everything that's ongoing? Emisango olowooza giva mu bintu binene. The cases come out of small things. Top most prominent social problems facing Ugandans today. Freedom of expression and assembly. nti in a bid okugezaako okuteekawo effort okufufugaza abo abafuge temumiitinga wano, temugenda mu kimeeza, temuyogera ku radio, togenda ku radio gunde jinja. Out of that alone, zino cases mwe ziva. Nearly every day police ina case 10 ezijiwabiro. Police nganya ogenda wano, political activists, police baganya ogenda jinja. This is where the costs are coming from. Mu bintu ebitono ddala. What would happen if you let people talk to each other? What would happen if you let people speak up? This is speaking. People are not up in arms to shoot at anybody.
They're just speaking.
Bw'otunuulira mu bizibu social problems facing Uganda today, arrests and harassment of opposition members, plus supporters and well-wishers. That's where all these cases come from. Cases zisinze zonna eza torture zeesigamizibwa ku police kugezaako kukola ebyo ebitali mirimu gyayo. Kuuma abantu, kuuma eddembe, kuuma ebyabwe. Poliisi bayinza ogiyita awali ensasagge, genuine ensasagge. Neetalabibwa omuliro, sima amazzi tetulina. Poliisi giyite weerabye ba politician babiri mbu batudde balina bye boogera nabo. They are there very quickly. They deploy. Abuses by security officers, officers and forces. Bino byonna emisango egikwatiridde mu kooti against state giva mu ebyo. So while we would think that they would understand the importance of compensation, when you compensate, general compensation, special, there is compensation actually. There is a ruling in a case that's intended to bring redress to a situation that occurred. Punitive. Nti abantu nze bwe mba nnumiriza nti Alupo ne ani ne Musene ne ani ne Obolo be bankola bino nabalaba. They forced themselves in my vehicle ne bagifuuyiramu ebiragalalagala ne bankuba pepper spray ne banninyalinnya nti be bankola ebyo. Lwaki tonzikiriza kugenda mbawaabire bonga abantu? Bwe mbangezezaako bawaabiranga abantu. Lwaki okiteekamu obukwakulizo? It was awaiting dismissal, of course. I still have cases at the Uganda Human Rights Commission, that tribunal. Nti I would get invited over at the police, waliwo mwami ya retiring. Yalabikanga munga ategeera ensonga eno. See me at 2, n'otuukawo at 2. As soon as they know it is you, they put barricades, ne bayungulawo abantu. They make a scene. And because you're not there to enjoy a picnic or a drink of warrage, and you're a human being, you also get upset. Mfunda biri, emisango egimu additional cases zenateeka ku Human Rights Commission, violation of my rights, access to a public office. I am neat, I am in order, I'm going where I'm expected. I was got once and beaten again and my clothes were tore up. Ku police, after the beating I suffered. Nti biwedde bantumye ku police kakati yitayo smala baani laba mwami Kasinje laba aliwa usanga ba deployings. Waliwo omusajja yayitako ku gate oba yali enango oba yali ani n'abagira she's the one, don't open for her. Ne bakozinga commotion naawe motoka already engage nze mu gate. Eriyo motoka emabega. Sijja jiza mabega waliwo motoka endala. Sinza jizaawa but they are insisting don't go beyond that. Headquarter ya police ya mwami enango oba mwami ani gwe batumyawo nti gamba kakazi tekayingira. What am I trying to say to you? Obujozi bwa munna Uganda, security forces to assume jobs that are not theirs is what's leading to Ugandans okubanga tukolerera kusasula mabanja. Tukolerera kusasula mabanja. The people you're paying these compensations to, be batasasula be bafeera bakadeideyi be bagabira miliyoni 3 nga bakugjeemu amannyo ne nabana. Yeza mwame Pius Bigirimana, trust me. Apiri ya monitor walabye yatutte butwazi in a matter of weeks. Ne bagiyita ne bagidismissing. Meaning it ne miliyoni 405. Within a year jakuba zifunye. Nze gwe bakubye ne bangwako kiyifu ne bankubira obwereere. Ne banzijamu ebitundu by'omubiri gwange. It might take years. Maybe if I'm lucky that the next government, it might never happen. I don't even look forward to it. But if I woke up and I needed that money, In fact, I'm thinking on a second thought, okuzikuka nekwata ne ba victims abalala. Tugende wa mwami kiri wakiwanu katuwe sente zaffe.
Era baddemba bakube.
Ate oba ye gundi gye bataddewo gye buli kimu okutuuka ku nsonga yonna oteekwa kkubo bukubo.
But is this meted on politicians or political activists like yourselves? Oba ne bannayuganda abalala? Oba tugambe bano bapayasi?
Kaakati munnayuganda bw'omugamba nti abanjibwa poliisi togambye nti eri mu biliyoni 16 as of 2019 kaakati eyinza kuba mu meka biliyoni 2 mu ekintu ebanjibwa bubanjibwa compensation. Sente zino biliyoni zigenda kuva mwani? Omusolo gwowo gwandikukoledde oluguudo gwandikoze eddwaliro gwandituta omwana wo kusukuka primary school n'asoma nga kategeerekeka gugenze kusasula payasi bigirimana miliyoni 4.5 gugenze kusasula ani wamwisani kahinda miliyoni 2 ate ebyabwe byanguwa they pay them. Abasiraamu sima bebazuula nti baali bawayiriziddwa nakine basalirwa okuweebwa babasalira kuba sente meka.
I'm not sure about
will they ever get it? Naye ezaba pious. He's already, he's high profile. He should actually have enough to treat whatever trauma he got out of being shamed in
but
being
he also
mentioned.
deserves justice, like you deserve justice.
So what are you disputing, Zain? But why is there discrimination? What justice does he deserve so much more? Yes, he was in that office. And yes, there were corruption scandals in the office that he headed. Kiki kye baamukola ennyo? Yes, kyamukosa emotionally nga bwe nakosebwa. Where is the difference? Under the law, we are same people. We are both supposed to be protected from torture, from defamation, from shame. Compensations are intended to be remedy, to cause redress in situations. Naye kakati otandise okubiddwa 2019 2023 teri yali akuwadde wadde panado.
Naye nze ndabuza kale nana okigenze wala katusoke tudde ne wano emabega process etuuka to that ruling eyo ey'okufuna miliyoni 35 wateekamu ssente mmeka?
Exactly, ekyo mbadde nkyerabidde, ekyo tubadde tukyerabidde.
Because the cost of getting justice in this country is also high.
It's also very high.
Starting from the basics as going to the police station.
Do you know how much my family and well-wishers had to pay to lawyers to keep showing up? And this is a human rights case. You have a human rights lawyer, but in some way they must be paid, they must be, compensated for their time and their job. Sigwa msomesa.
It's true.
Yeah? I cannot mention that bill. I had to reach well-wishers one on a walika organization one wali family leta yozino. Yeah, but I'm very thankful those who reached out in helping me take a case to the High Court in Uganda and win it.
Because it also takes much to win that case.
I'm just there. Zobo otaddemu teekawo obujjanjabi bwo, teekawo the whole, the disgrace caused.
Trauma.
The trauma gy'oyitamu, the embarrassment. You never recover from these things. Nze nkeera nga mmanyi kino nakiwona nakiyitako. Nenkeera nennemwa n'okuzuukuka mu buliri nga ndowooza, nakubwa lwaki, nali nkoze ki, nakola ki? Abatubba ne babba nti COVID yazze, COVID mayaza ggula bitanda za kukola ki? Nobody touches them. For mere words, I'm speaking against police brutality meted onto opposition politicians and any other Ugandans. An arrangement is made at no less than a police headquarters of a country to beat me. The plan was probably to kill me. They induced labor with a plan to kill me. This is the reason a woman's hand was between my legs. I still have scars. Novaayo nongamba nti omulamuzi apaasinga miliyoni 35 ndi muwi wa musolo wenjogerera essimu yange ina notifications. You are eyagala sente. They said on the 18th, tomorrow is 18th. My car trading license is expiring. Every year you buy the permission to operate small businesses in the city. At every level you withdraw a cash shilling, you do this with an account, excise duty, this and that and that. But I do not matter at all. I don't matter to an extent that I lose a body part at the hands of those paid to protect me, and the High Court of a country I call home rules in my favor, purports to, orders the Attorney General, pay this. 3 years later, it's nowhere. Small as it is, it's also not there. But when budgets pass, bayina ezigenda okusitula roko aleme kugwa, bayina ezokola enguudo Congo, gye bakoledde amanga zamba. Does anybody know if they've already paid the $325 million
No, but they said they are
in the Congo?
They are in talks with the president.
Abasonyiwe kye bava beegula nti bagende bamukolere enguudo. So whether we pay this money or not pay this money, the burden remains on you. The musubuzi asasula ka trade permission to trade every year and taxes at every level of your transaction. Ne bwotwala butwazi mwana ka private school amasomero amalamu getwatwalanga bw'abaana gonna gattatanibwa. To get anything out of your child, you need to go to private school. It's taxed. You're the one paying those taxes. Naye ne tujogebwe bwenkaniddeawo. I personally protest. Kituufu nti mu byamateeka, there is so much you can do about a case that has already been ruled and put there. But if I had any power anywhere, I would reverse rulings like those. Ye mwami yoma, I think Mwami Sekana. Yefuddemu mu kujolonga bannayuganda abatwala petition ezirimu omuggunju.
So you want to say this is targeted?
Yes, they are targeting opposition, they are targeting I'm a rights defender because they have their own spin people. If Mwami Sekana wants to sue me or take me to courts of law for defamation as well, he's welcome. My name is Mwafrika. It is known. Lawyers in the city, human rights lawyers and other lawyers know this man to be notorious. Yes, Baba Mare Mabirizi. What had that boy done that really calls for him being in prison for 18 months? That is an attempt to trample on this man's right to petition as many times as he wants. Because that's what Mabirizi is known for. Chebagala okulemesa nti bakulage nti nawe nakibuuka ali wali alowooza nti bwe ndaba amanga zamba nga Mare Mabirizi bwe yagalabanga ndi waddembe okuwaabira gavumenti ku kino nemba waabira ku kino nemba waabira tutambuza ku ngodembi nemba waabira ekirudde obutabaayo gundi nempaabira oli okubeza covid n'azimbamu malls. It works very terrible things on the minds of young people in Uganda. What the justice system is doing in Uganda. Judiciary batujoze nnyo. Particularly amanya nga agaba Mwami Sekana. Mwami Sekana oli mujozi. Nenchi wana wo ino mukyala ozadde. Ate nsi gyeraga ani amanye bigenda mu maaso. You can wake up nga igwa ina muwala wo gwe bajjemu n'abaana. N'omuwa gundi $8 kanaana mbu agenda agule replacing ebyayisemu. Ate nazo ozikoza award knowing that it will probably never come. Why must I appeal? People told me to appeal. Ogwa gudaruli awerere. But the emotional burden in Ugandans' hearts, naddala abayisemu bintu bye tuyisemu, it is immense. I reminded my followers on Twitter that injustice only breeds terror. While we have partners, we have EU, we have the US mission in Uganda, they all speak wonderful things on paper, partnership with Uganda against terrorism, peace, democracy and development. What development are you talking about? US mission in Uganda, residing in a country where women's rights are abused to that magnitude. My right as a woman to have other children was cut short by the actions of the Uganda police. But Uganda police is in partnership with different embassies, with different superpowers. They are here passing their own interests at the cost of the Ugandan and putting very wonderful words on paper. Partners of Uganda in human rights, democracy, development, the fight against terrorism. injustice everywhere it is breeds terror.
But
If
the
I
partners
never
have
heal
done.
from what I feel, if the other victim outside this program never gets redress, something, an attempt, because there isn't enough that can replace what I've been through. But an attempt, a compensation never really brings everything in order. It's an attempt.
Kusiga kazigo.
Yes.
Kugamba wachi
So you imagine me 10 years later that I never got justice, that the medical bills I went through, that the shame my family and I suffered was just trashed off. Nze waliwo abantu wenagenda waliwo olukungana lumu nembabuuza lwaki mukola bino abantu talking enhancing the tax base nembabuuza for whose benefit era bayagala okunkwata. But I asked this thing, nabuuza ebintu bino, waliwo abantu aba interviewing on the same. Waliwo minister yali wa ICT ekiseera ekyo eyamu interviewing yali journalist doza yali ava USA yamugamba that's frustration is everywhere. Now I'm pointing even where you come from in America there is frustration. In short, he trashes it off like it's frustration of the masses is nothing. We have the Maje, we have the police, they have army ringing sirens as they pass on this narrow road. Techimukwatako, Ntinana is frustrated. Techimukwatira because he thinks it's safe.
But he was speaking the truth.
Which truth?
His own truth. Wachitula mugaba mazima, yitichwa techimukwatako.
Walowooza nti tekimukwatako ali ku musolo ogwo ayina liidika 3 ayina liidika ali ku kkubo waddembe to show off every other person bw'ayitawo kwegamba tujogeddwa ne tujolongebwa to an extent ate Munnayuganda bwe tuneeyongera okukkiriza ebintu bino nti monitor paper eriwo it has a license okutuusa Munnayuganda information ku Munnayuganda information. There is a right for Ugandans to get information. Ebintu bwe byayogerebwa mu parliament muntapepe ebipiiki nze n'ebikasuka eri abantu babitegeere and Pius goes to court and wins 450 million defaming. Tell me which Ugandan will want to cover another report about a big shot having stolen money? Has corruption stopped since?
No.
Has it? Is it likely to stop with such rulings? Until you have your cadre judges, you have a judge that you know this one is good enough to spin it around. Kana kazi kawabidde police mukateke wamwami sekana. Oyo tumwekakasa. It is insane and we must refuse these things.
Nagambye Ethan, webale kubanga olaba Ethan. Nagambye, if I may ask, was Bigirimana defamed? He was holding a public office that was thought to be embezzling public resources.
Exactly.
Shouldn't people scrutinize and investigate the expenditure of public funds?
Exactly.
I'm no expert, but the last I checked, questioning the way a public servant runs a public office wasn't a cause for defamation.
For defamation and suits of defamation.
Ayongede n'agamba, what are the considerations for awarding these damages?
What are they? Twagala tuzimanye.
I don't think comparison of awarded costs in the legal extent. You deserved better compensation due to your own facts and inhuman treatment, but maybe not the basis of other judgments with different facts altogether. Bwatyo bwagambye ono agambye lace up agambye those police lady are so rude to fellow women as though it's our fault that they are losers stuck in police, with most of them having two men that can marry them off. They think it's our fault that they eat ugly meals. I can never forget those women's disrespect for fellow women with hard hands like for male farmers. I hate police women because they hate fellow women.
I know.
They have no mercy for fellow women, rather want to show their authority.
Ekyo kyenkugambye kyekiri mu mutima gwa Munnayuganda. Nti by the way si buli mupoliisi nti mubi. Mulimu abalungi. Nze I work on my own personal ways of recovering and healing. I've decided to smile at these people. ne bwe baba nkutte ndi kugundi awo CPS bichina hey black beauty how are you, like to motivate them to be human.
By the way babakwata munze nange
bad people
police mogere nayo bulungi bakwate ko bulungi
yogera naye nti mu bribing obachi
but
try to bring out the good. But you read her comment and understand muna Uganda wali ti omuntu eyani mukuumi oba okukuuma obutebenkevu already amuyinako eyo bias ti mu police akwata with her bare hands n'ayambula mukazi munne n'akulangira akawale k'oyambadde simanya mbukeeru okambalidde ki. I am going to tell this story for as long as I live. And as long as I don't get justice every platform I have, I am going to vividly tell the date, the day at the Uganda police headquarters. Senior officers deployed, women and men at a gate, to prevent a woman from accessing an office she had an appointment to go to. It wasn't just preventing me. Be it torture me. I will not stop telling that story. We must not stop telling these stories. They are stories of shame. There is no beauty around them. Juzi bavuddeyo mbusimanya fake torture victims in Nairobi. Do we have an absence or shortage of torture cases? If they are saying these were fake, do we have an absence or shortage of real cases? Human Rights Commission. Eyandibadde evunanyizibwako ku rights zaffe. Eyandibadde esoosowaza ensonga zino. Compensations zitya. Why are they delayed? From time to time olaba agikulira mukyala wangadya ng'akola statement ezennyamiza muna Uganda ng'agwira oludda lw'aba perpetrators openly ne weebuuza okubeera mu position what does it take them? So compensations zino what are the basis kwezeesigamizibwa? Nti if I'm a small nobody, even if they kill me, it's the 5 million embutwala ezo kuba bwogambye ezo 5 million nazo tezaali za buli omu abantu abaafa mu manga zambaga 2021 November. I remember the president was saying nti not everybody we shall see those ones who were out to cause chaos. How do you tell a dead body that was tikati bano bafo bali mu morgue aguno gulabika omulambo gwadde guzze kukola ki kukola kavuyo. Imagine okujolonga ekitiibwa ky'omuntu
abo bennyini abaddayo okwapiringira abantu abagenda mu kooti okubawa ssente paka saazo tebawanga yadde na 10 ate tebabagamba nga n'abantu batta bantu baabwe
kubanga polisi yabeegaana bantu baali bambadde bye bambadde yambadde. So we are in
video z'abakwata bulungi ne kabangali yali behind that bagimanyi buli omu agimanyi.
Nina kapaati kenyinza okunoonya bano ne nkusomera. It is bad. It is terrible. Physical forms of torture. Beating up people, whipping people. Breaking their ribs, okutunyola emikono bayina, they have particular nze banyodde emikono gino bakwata ne bakukyusa omukono ne gufuuka S. Mukulembeze gwanga yabiyita atya okutasya mu Lunyankole kutaka kutuma omuntu yataka. Where is the need for all of this? If they don't want to pay compensations and damages and what, then have punitive measures. There must be punitive damages awarded somebody. Nze sandi badde na kizibu if omulamuzi Musa Sekana on one day of the time of the suit I had against the police by it are the particular people that did these things to me because they were not unknown. Even a simple apology, we are sorry, maybe we were under orders to beat or kill you. As a human being, I would take that. But there wasn't as much as a punishment to any of the people that did this to me. Tewali na lunaku lumu nti balabikako ne mu kooti. So what does that do to the mind of the police officer today?
It's okay.
It's okay. Era beewaana waliwo era yazisinzira mu bbala nti nze okutta tekindi mu ddakiika kuba amasasi enkya gavumenti ze n'embika bakulimba nti bansiba nga nze bandiployinze walala. They brag about these things. They do. They do.
They know there is no justice.
Negligence ya police ku makubo bavuga zikabangali na kibi batomera abantu. They know they are covered. It is absurd. It is a very, very complicated matter. But my appeal goes to all partners of Uganda in human rights. The challenges are still so many. But partners, they have a role they play in this.
But they have tried their level best. But partners bafunye sanctions.
It is my appeal. This is an appeal. I'm not even blaming them. It's an appeal that they do more with their so-called partners. If you have a police institution in a country that has the, that is doing all this to people, and you just continue to partner with them, give them gifts, give them funds, give them, what message does that send to the wananchi? You are in it together. You are nearly the enemy of your enemy. Because security forces in Uganda have defined themselves as the enemy of the public. They beat and clobber us. My appeal, all partners of Uganda in democracy, the fight against terrorism, the breeding, terrorism is bred from injustice. Ongoing injustice is a batafako.
Ndabe dakika zidi tubulayi dakika 30 njya nkubuza akabuzo nga tunaba kukogera njagala otumene ku comment yo ku NSSF ebigenda masa otsoko tunyonyolemu ebiri mu kuzuulu ebipya nti ne genocide ayina omukono gwabadde nagweyo nenga tetunaba kugenda eyo justice nze kyembuuza bana Uganda bakole ki okufuna justice yabo oba oloza enembeere eri mu kugenda maaso abantu balinyigirizibwa tebaweebwa justice, people are just quiet, but deep down nga oyogedde they are frustrated. Obiraba mu bintu
oli bwafuna chance irateekayo postient bijira ebigalo.
There is an increasing injustice eri mitima gyabwe. Oloza kino kigenda culminating muki chichinza ku eventually what does this mean?
Aliwe ayimba akayimba tutude kutaimbo musawa yona tutude kutaimbo
nkwano bo kyagulanye
akayimba kyali wange kyagulanye era abantu basiba babyogera ekiri mu Uganda kitogo kitokota butokosi ogundi munyagwe agamba katogo kakulimba nti kakyafumba kumbe ko kasirira tuli mu kusirira from the bottom. Because again, ogambye mwami Salim Sale NSSF, all that is corruption. Bali mu sente zammwe mwe begazanyiza mwe basinziira nti bwe bapasinga gundi nge yabijirimana against the monitor. Tomorrow you will have no guts to talk about the Salim Saleh hand in NSSF. Yeah? They are very directly and deliberately blocking every avenue you'd pass through. Obuuza muna Uganda akolechi. Tuleme kukiriza kusiririra wansi nga katogo. Why should we suffocate?
People say there are peace, but I don't find peace.
The peace is not there. We have just mastered the art of faking the peace. We've just mastered that art. Abantu wali wakugamba nti nze mu kifo ky'ogweddalu nabivaako ebya Uganda justice nana you won't get it. But can we use the means within the ones we can reach? The means within our reach are there. We can refuse to pay taxes. The government is run on money that comes from us. Bwogana okubawa sente ezo ze bakutte ze bali mu kujolonga mu NSSF. Ugandans must learn to work together. Our politics gwe batuteekamu simanya babagambye it's multi-party. While it's multi-party, you keep getting beaten. Uganda police is mounting on cases of human rights violations, coming out of the lie that you are free to participate in politics whichever way you want in the various parties. When we learn that all these are lies, when we learn that political parties, all these are tools the dictatorship has in place to keep you fooled and divided, we must forget about participating in elections whose outcome you almost always know. Mwami Besigye yakibagamba bana Uganda. Naye already bayogera 2026 so ulira ba political activists bano bavane mu party basala diro. They are trying to position where they think they can win what? Like a political office, a position. Can the Ugandan be helped to appreciate the problem je tulimu nti mere politicking cannot take away the fact that if I collapsed now okuntuusa ekiruddu n'ekkuba eritutwalayo ojja kuntuusa nga nfudde.
Ate ndaba Lord Mayor nga alaunchinga ambulances mukaaga ze bayongeddeko n'agamba kati Kampala erina totondo za 12 ambulances. How many people are in Kampala?
Ebitanda waliwo president lwe yabuuza mukyala atwine ebitanda bye twali tugize tuyinawo bimeka. She mentioned I think it wasn't 1% of what's desired, but now since the pandemic is gone, one would ask, have they ever brought those beds, or we are waiting for a new pandemic? Maybe we tulikeera nga waliwo pandemic bagiyita up over you know total.
Don't you think we live by the grace of God?
We are living by the grace of God. Every day you set out as a Ugandan to get on the roads, obanga aliko suicide mission. Natula mu motoka nenzije Kampala paka Fort Portal ne tugenda Kamwenje Wazibanda. Makubo, the state of the road between Kampala Mityana Mubende Chegegwa.
Mama, I know it.
People who have to use that road daily, like bus drivers, manya link, manya bani.
You have to drive 4
You have
hours.
to be very good not to cause an accident in a whole year.
Kuva wano paka ekienjojo 4 hours ziwere ennaku zino. Ngate 4 hours should have been the total.
We are alive by the grace of God. Tuli balamu lwa kisa kya Katonda. Naye tusobola okubaako kye tukola. Okwerabira okwawukayawukana. Political parties opposition ejuzi boogera unity bagenda okwogera unity ogenda okulaba ate ono member wa political party gundi bwasaze eddiira azzemu eno. If you're wanting to unite,
stay where you are, you unite together.
What is the point of having to cross from this house to another? Ensi yaffe kwe gatetegerekeka, but have you asked a question nti bana Uganda ate ayina kukola ki? I can't stop saying it. Ugandans okubonaabona si kufa. Tetujja kufa, bajja okuba abalamu weetuli tujja kubaawo bino byonna biriyita naye what shall we sit to say nga bimaze okuyita? Shall we shake our hands that we tried? Are we going to hide our faces from our grandchildren telling them, oh, we all feared and hid away? Refuse the injustice. Justice system bweba bwebikoze nti eyina abalamuzi baayo bo bali always set to handle political cases a certain way. Moniteze jojo bibwa mukulu w'eggwanga yabayita balimba manya biki. So olabira ddala nti they have no chance while they do their business of kutuusa ku munnamawulire amawulire. They will always have no chance. Ekivaamu, they also get compromised and find a position where they can report in a way that doesn't get them hit every now and then.
But Nana, if the judicial system, by the way, we are talking about the judicial system. The people appreciate the magnitude of the judicial system in any country, because the judicial system is the last resort. Where everybody has to go. Because what justice system that is the last resort.
Omuntu bwalemwa. You've said it very well. I want to say it to all concerned. If Nana expected redress from the courts of law before Judge Musa Sekana and she doesn't get it, Nana attempts to do a private protest on private persecution of the people that hurt her. She gets blocked. Nana tries to call abokukyalo nti kati mumanyi obuzibu bwe tuyina wano tubwejjeemu tutyanga abantu. She gets blocked. Kye bakigenda okuddako. And you lying to us, partners in human rights and democracy and development, isn't it a lie then that you talk of partnering with Uganda, you fund Uganda so much to curb terrorism in the region? Uganda buli awali akekanze, we are the ones to go and keep peace. Isn't it a lie when you cannot be, well, maybe you are being part of trying to solve the local problem? When a Ugandan activist gets beaten and the resort is to sneak out of the country and go and hide somewhere where they think they might live safer with their family. Don't we think the whole talk about addressing terrorism in the region is just, fancy talk? African Union, Court enkulu eri awo ku East Africa.
East African Court of Justice.
Abantu bwe balemwa judicial system etufairinze, justice system etufairinze, Uganda Human Rights Commission teri agamba bulijje twekubira enduulu waganye. But we are human beings who are alive. We have emotions, we have brains. God has given us amagezi. Tetuyinza okusinziirawo naffe ne tukungawo kye tuyinza okukola nga kirumya abatulumiza. These are the questions that should be asked. What are the causes of words like terrorism, where people did not get justice, where there is no effort to stop the ongoing impunity, the corruption, the everything? Abantu bwe bali ekyawa, what will happen? What will happen? Dark ages abantu ze bavaamu amawanga ge twegombesa kati abantu gye bagenda okufuna ku buweerero nga bakubiddwa wano. These people sacrificed.
Exactly.
The ones we see as the developed countries, the ones where human rights are what? They also have their challenges, but they don't show them.
Cost,
It all came at a cost.
It's true.
They came from dark ages to blood and to the sunlight. But Ugandans, if we are going to to which end are we going to be silent about these things?
But the Ugandans have also been in those doldrums. For 60 years now, we have been in Migozo
struggle. We are trying. But at the point where you think at least now the world knows things can be shared to your advantage, today's some politicians bekwata with people outside Uganda to try and talk how we can help each other to see that things get better. If the common wananchi do not join this effort, to join hands without talking political parties, groupings, we come together and know that police brutality hurts anybody. Bad roads will kill a minister's child the way they will kill a commoner's child. A bad hospital will kill anybody when an emergency happens. A bad road to Chenjojo will kill anybody, no matter how rich you are. When we internalize these things, maybe then we can come together. Watalina, nachiria wanti politics mutima. Nze Uganda omugaso gwa politics kyagulaba. O NRM akaba school fees. Omuwagizo wa NRM akaba sales entono, akaba economy eri kutaka, akaba engudo mbi the same way or FDC no one upwazi
kaba. They go through the same things. We go through.
Why are we giving politicians and why are we giving even the junta?
No, I think Ugandans
the advantages.
Boba na Uganda bamanyi nti kati fetwa politics bali munsi yabwe ba politician.
Ate mwatu.
Chovola bano politikuka kalulu ngoli azzo okukima era nayajaga mampayo chompa.
Zakati olaba ndi civil rights activist. Of course my demands are usually against state bananga abantu ekigwanide abantu eddembe lyabwe lyobwebange eddembe lyabwe to life eddembe lyabantu to good health. Bye bintu ebintakabanya. Naye olungwako bwe bati police, they must link you Kyagulanyi Besigye and what, and then find out how hard to beat you from that. Kakati bwolaba era abatonotono abakkiriza okulekebwa mu darkness ya politics nga nabo babikkiriza yasala wayingira ebyobufuzi leka bamukube.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Naye ate ebyobufuzi era byekuusa ku buli kimu ekikwata ku bulamu bwo.
Kati Uganda tafaayo
tujja kweyongera okumuzuukusa. We shall continue okuzuukusagana.
Because bagamba ebyo byabannana byabakyagu.
Tuzuukuke tugaane abesiga eddamuzi okukola ebintu ebyobujozi. Nze as a human rights defender, as a civil rights activist, I protest. The judgment where Monitor has been ordered to pay to Pius Bigirimana 450 million for defamation. It's not defamation. We don't intend to defame leaders when we talk about things that they are involved in. Kati bali bagala bogere kwani. What did Pius Bigirimana and his abali ku ludda lwe What did they want Ugandans to talk about, or MPs to talk about? What did they want Monitor to report? That he's not part of it? That when the money was getting lost, he wasn't seeing, he was sleeping? So Ugandans, bana Uganda, muntu sekinomu, the pain is a lot. As a person, me, I have a lot of pain about how things are going. I have a lot of pain about the impunity with which things are done. I have a lot of personal pain olw'okuba najolongebwa poliisi nenzigyamu n'abaana ne batafaayo yadde okunzijanjaba ne mbanga awo era ne beeyongera kunkuba buli wensangibwa nkubibwa.
Nana, mu dakiika zino omusanvu ze tusigazaayo nsaba osooka okomentinge ku nsonga bannayuganda kati beesiga ekitongole ki kuba n'ekitongole kibadde kisembyeyo ky'osobola okugamba ekyo twakivaako kuba kati kino ekibaterekera ensimbi zaabwe. Munnayuganda akeera buli lunaku n'akula ne bamutemako akasente nga bamanyi kagenda mu NSSF. Nekyebikanga ne NSSF eno erina an invisible hand bannayuganda gye batategeera. Waliwo document yafulumye recently ngeraga waliwo genocide bibadde akola kibyadde directinga mu NSSF nekyebuuzibwa omwami ono aba directinga ngaani ekittavu ky'abakozi ensimbi z'abakozi zo ekyebuuzibwa munnayuganda ali eyo sente ze ziri seefu anaatuuka mbukadde nga akasente katerekedde abazzukulu n'akakaaka n'amulabira
bwe mwazisaba obudde bwa covid era tewalaba kalumanywere yaliwo bantu mubagalidde ewaka nti bakwate ku ssente zaabwe bagire basurvivinga walaba kalumanywere yaliwo. All said and done, NSSF, taxes, URA, Uganda buli awali akasente k'omuntu buli ministry erabika nti yesobola okufuna budgets ennene ozuukiraba nti they place people that are untouchable. Which Ugandan can touch Salim Sali?
No one.
Nze nana naalongo atatya kyatya naye nange owulira eddoboozi likkakkanyeemu. Which Ugandan will freely talk about Mama Janet Kataha, but she's the one at the center of Ministry of Education. Nawulira basaba amataka ga church, Smart Catholic Church, nago gaweebweyo gabeere part gabe managed by the ministry. Buli awali sente ya munnayuganda nti ewera. Look at who is the top in that part. NSSF bajja kuleeta bateekewo Kasigazi. Naye nga Kasigazi, the actual boss of Kasigazi is sitting underground in a tunnel. Kasigazi azisika bwaziyiwayo nti bwe munaavaayo okubuuza Kasigazi to point at Kasigazi where is our money, he actually has no answers. Buli munnayuganda awali akasente ke awali sente ye y'omusolo URA awali we bakuŋŋaanyiza sente ate buli nsonda waliwo sente ezikuŋŋaanyizibwa. Have you been to these places bona obwana obwagala ogenda Abu Dhabi Bambi, the kids getting shipped out ogenda to be slaves? Have you seen butuula bunoonya gundi recommendation manya letter of good conduct police omayo musimbi ogukuŋŋaanyizibwawo ate sente zonna zigwa sente zonna zigwa URA permit renew a permit URA renew endagamuntu nawulira ani yatugamba Mwami Kahinda endagamuntu bw'onoogisuula kati mitwalo 2 zonna there is a big unfillable basket where Ugandans monies flow every day zigwomo but at all those parts they are powerful people who we don't know ani abapointinga which credentials they have to be appointed there.
Some are not even know.
Mwami Salim Sala agenda okubeera nga akulira za kyezo eza operation wealth creation. Where is his personal wealth created by himself? Credentials eziriwa nti aye yasobola okutunda kabalagala n'akulaakulana n'atuuka ku ntikko, so we can trust him with helping Ugandans to create health with the little they have. Where are his credentials? Why have Ugandans allowed wherever buli awali akasente kamwe, wherever there is your shilling, you the taxpayer, small or big, you allow for the big ones to be exempted from paying these taxes. The big ones don't pay these taxes. They are buildings, they have all manner of ways to evade these taxes, but Ugandans dare not speak. While it's understandable that Ugandans dare not speak about these things, to which end? Kitulazaawa kino ekyokusirikira ebintu bye tulaba obulabi. Why do we even allow that Mwami Salim Saleh gets mentioned near etterekero lya ssente z'abakozi b'e Uganda? Why? Who is he and who has made him that he's in charge of wealth creation? Now he's the big hole where
he's the founding father.
The money is getting siphoned to. Buli awali akasente kamwe oba ministry ng'eyo nti budget zaayo nene, look at who they put to be in charge. Then ne baleeta IGG ne bateekawo formerly disgruntled politicians. Bamukyala Kamya Betty, she can only say so much, she can only do so much. Why? She has ever been a disgruntled one. Na yogere emanga zambaga state bubamuwa position baba bamuwadde, keep quiet, eat and be quiet. Mwami Mao, we are talking about justice. Mwami Mao, out of all people, Mwami Mao, he's a friend of many people. He takes that position. He would be expected okuba nti yakwasizaako Munnayuganda owawansinganze to get justice. Look, he's also starting to talk like his boss. Look, guys, I can't steer the transition alone. Who sent you to steer what transition? Do the part that is yours. Constitutional matters. Constitution, kola that part inga yo jikole bulungi, and other things will add to themselves and get completed. Munnayuganda must learn nti buli awali akasente ke waliwo ateebwawo nga ye aliwo kuyamba kasente ako kuliibwa. Naye era it's within our power, it's within our knowing okumanya ebyokukola. Waliwo abaana balina ka movement abo bakayita batya. They had talked about actions of disobedience, civil disobedience, and these actions are doable. Nobody sacrifices. Nobody sacrifices, and state has learned that. The corrupt have learned that. They will go for Nana who is speaking these words, and everybody else will be like, oh, but to which end is our silence? The justice system, the judiciary, my message is, where justice is not taken seriously, the absence or the presence of justice is what determines how peaceful a country is, by the way. By the way.
Yeah, it's true.
You can receive as much funding from US government, from European Union, to tackle terrorism, to tackle what, but for as long as the individual national in Uganda, the individual Kenyan, the individual person in the region, the individual Congolese or Sudanese or Tanzanian is disgruntled and has nowhere to run for redress. You are sending them to be part or even remotely to be in support of what maybe you might term as terrorism. Yes. So if we must stand for justice, we must know that it's a pillar on which peace and everything else and successfully fighting terror, all of this hinges on justice. If people don't get justice, people will always find desperate measures. And I have nothing to use against the person that has caused me pain. My mind is enough. You've read that message of a woman, she thinks police people, they have hard hands, they are ugly, they eat bad food, no wonder they are this and that. That in itself, it's breeding of a really bad heart against another person. Steve. Would it be different if people got justice? Where things happen to us that are not our fault, where things happen to us that we don't deserve, can we get justice?
Okay. Nana, webale tutuse ku nkomerero ya show yaffe, what are your parting shots?
My parting shots, eri esiga eddamuzi mu Uganda, that part or arm of government, judiciary, mufumitirize, have an overview of what's going on in Uganda. Cases, the case logs of Ugandans trying to get justice. Ugandans being asked for money to have things done for them, Momakoti. It's very bad.
Even
it's
in
a
the
bad
police
pointer.
station.
Compensations and damages, the way they are awarded, we as I speak on behalf as other activists we've talked about this with, we do think that the public truly needs to be told which basis these compensations are. They seem to be aimed at making Ugandans, calling Ugandans to shut up. Further working against the freedom of speech, the freedom to be informed. Mwami Mao, Constitutional Affairs. Mwami Attorney General Chiriowa Chiwanuka. Atudde mu mitambo gya finance. Compensations, particularly to do with human rights cases, victims of torture. Those compensations must be taken seriously. Now, not later. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Sigenda kwongera ku bigambo bya mukyalana na Mwafrika okujjako okubajjukiza nti mwekuume ate tutuuse ku nkomerero ya show yaffe olunaku olwaleero. Olunaku lwenkya tugenda, in fact olunaku lwaleero ku ssaawa 5 zennyini, in just an hour from now tugenda kubeera ne teeka ki show eyogera ku mateeka golina okufollowinga ne bagakuyigiriza mpola mpola omwami Kato tumusiime atera okubanga gihostinga. Omwebale mwenna abasindisa message zammwe olunaku lw'enkyebera Woman Crush Wednesday tujja kubeera n'abakyala wano Farida ne Luwedde be bagenda okubanga banyumyamu nammwe paka ssaawa 3. It has been a privilege having you and it's always a privilege having you, Nana. We shall meet again soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Edgar Matthew Karanga. Please do follow me at Twitter, that is on Twitter at Edgar Matthew Karanga jakubonda bawo. Nkoze Rogers tulia habwete ditenjo ne Mr. Mukose Arnold Anthony. See you tomorrow.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.